What's up everyone? Today we're going to recreate this 80s banger by New Order called Blue Monday. And before we get started, I just want to talk about how Beat DJ works. So this is a program I built for improvising electronic dance music. It uses a command line interface, so you actually type in what you want to do. Instead of clicking buttons and dragging things around, you type. And the reason you type is because Beat DJ is meant to be more like an instrument you play. So when you're typing, you're actually creating a feedback loop between you and the computer that's similar to like playing guitar, where you have two hands plucking strings and you start to develop this muscle memory. You develop the same muscle memory when you do typing into Beat DJ, and you'll see how these commands work in just a second. And before we get started, I want to just go over a little bit about the limitations. Beat DJ is not the best for doing cover tracks because it's really meant for these broad strokes where you might like load up a sound. So you're kind of doing these broad strokes where you're like, okay, hi-hat pattern, synth pattern, kick pattern, bass pattern, but you're not really like going in and specifying the exact pitches. It can be difficult to be precise with it, but that is going to be improving in the next version. I'm implementing some new sort of like methods for composers that will really help a lot. Since BDJ's inception, it's really been about harnessing randomness and trying to make music by just loading up random sounds and seeing how they fit together. And that helps you live. When you play live, you're not sitting there writing out every note. So Beat DJ is all about the randomness. Making precise stuff, it's not quite as good, but that's going to be vastly improved very soon. So stay tuned for new commands that will make this way easier. All right, guys, let's recreate Blue Monday by New Order. Let's take a listen. I think I'll use this handy little app called Tap Tempo on my phone, and that will show me what the tempo of the song is. So I'll just hit play on YouTube, and then I'm going to tap along and it will tell me the tempo. Okay, it's about 130. So I'll do the BPM 130 command. It's going to ask me the transition time and just hit enter for 0. Now we need to figure out what scale it is, so let me just Google it. Let's do Blue Monday scale key. Dorian. D Dorian. So I'm going to go to this website, Ian Ring. And I'm just going to search, let's go to the scale finder, and I'm going to search for Dorian here. And I just want the regular Dorian scale, I'm guessing. So once I click on that, you can go down to where it says pitch class set. So we're going to use these numbers to define our scale. And to do that with Beat DJ, what you can do is just do scale, and then we're going to do equal divisions, 12 equal divisions, and then we're going to enter those numbers here. So what that did is it set up a 12 tone equal temperament scale. So basically we started with 12 notes from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12 would be the octave. So we reduced it to just these notes, 0, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10. So if we play this now, I can do scale play, and then scale stop.
Studio, all of them kicking off with New Order, playing live, singing live with Blue Monday.
So let's load up a kick. So the kick is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. We're going to bundle it to 24. So bundle to 24. That gets our first kicks in there for 6. So that regroups it into a group. Now I just need to add. We want to fill this space with eighth notes right here. So we're going to go dun 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 dun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. So we need 8 more kicks, so I'm going to do grow 8. And then I'm going to set the durations. So durations 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, right? So we have 6 kicks that are all 4 notes long. And then we're going to have 8 that are 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can just do fit length to make the loop length fit there, or I could also just run length 32 to make it fit. Let's see how this sounds. So basically what we did is we loaded up a kick, and then we made our sequence have the correct number of chops, and then we decided the length of the chops. So we have that part done, and now let's check out the synth part. So the first synth part. That's a tricky one. I'm going to use the generate command to generate a saw wave mono simple saw pluck. I don't know if I want to pluck, but let's see. Saw phaser sounds maybe close. So a saw wave is harmonically dense. It has a lot of overtones, kind of those higher pitches, and that's why I was able to sort of identify it, is because it sounds kind of buzzy, but then it has a bit of like a volume envelope kind of. I did the pitch index and the scale just 0 for now. I'll do the octave 0, and then let's do length 16, which is a bit longer than we need, but that will give us some audio to work with in order to do the melody. That'll work. Okay, so I just want to do to volume envelope. The volume envelope command allows us to change the volume of the sound over time, and I'm just going to do 9 to 0 for now. Oops, so that would be 1 space VE. And we can swap the sound later, but this will give us a good start. So it might be up an octave. Let's try this. We're gonna do durations. I That sounds like eighth notes, I think. So we're gonna try that. So 1, 2, 2, 2. So let's try to voice it out. Okay, so I'm going to do fit length to make it the loop fit. And now let's try the melody command. So we're going to do, I'm just guessing. We could look up at the MIDI probably too. Look up the actual notes. Let's listen again. So one difference about Beat DJ is that it syncs the tonic to the BPM. So when in this song Blue Monday, the key is actually D, but in Beat DJ the key is whatever the tonic is that is synced to the BPM. And the reason for this is because Beat DJ is for hardcore dance music where you want the waveforms to synchronize with the rhythm, and so that's going to make your basses sound really nice, like your low frequency sounds, and it also allows you to blur the lines between rhythm and harmony to the point where if I load up a kick sound, I can actually start to repeat the kick sound so fast that it turns into a bass note, like so. Now there's 4, now 8. And that actually is the tonic of our song. So when we speed up the kicks enough, it actually becomes a bass note that matches our song. It's because you can do some really cool tricks with rhythm, like this, for example. I can basically turn this kick into a synthesizer. It does have the downside that you can't really match other songs exactly because the pitches are going to be slightly different, but the basic structure of the song will be the same because we're using the same key or using the same scale, I mean. So the relative notes are all going to sound the same, but they're just going to be offset a bit from the actual track. So let's see if we can get this closer. pum 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 pum. And then I'm going to rotate it by 8 because I think it actually starts with the lower pitches maybe. So when you rotate it, basically like it kind of like puts the notes in the front to the end. So I'm going to take the first 8 and put them on the end basically. So I think we're close. Every other note is actually a bit louder. So we can achieve that sort of pattern by using a transient command. And it's not just louder, but it has a brighter sort of energy to it, I think. And so what we can do is we can say transient. Typically what you can do with transient is you can like cut off the front of the sound. So 9 would be the full transient of the synth. Now if we go down lower, you can see that the beginning of the sound gets cut off. So we could play around with that. I think maybe sometimes it sounds brighter at different transients. I think almost maybe like 2,9. And we could do even a bit more. Maybe I could do a volume envelope to kind of soften the first note and then make the second note punchier. Yeah, I think I'm missing like one note in there. Let's print the melody out, and I think I just need to bump up these two. Okay, there we go. What if that note is 0? That is sounding pretty close. Okay, I think we got it. It's good enough for now. Let's check out the bass line. Now the bass line sounds kind of like a square wave to me, so I'm gonna search bass square. And you can tell, I think it's a square because it doesn't sound quite as full as a saw wave, so it's actually missing some of the harmonics. It has a bit more of like a video game type of sound. That is not a bass though. Let's search for a bass. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, 2 index 0 to move it to the front. Let's name it the bass. Bum, bum. Let's check out the bass line again. Okay, so it's following a very similar structure to the synth. Let's set the length to 2. Yeah, so let's bundle this to 32. So we grouped it into 32 so that way we can actually make changes across this range. Otherwise, if we just had one sample like we did before, whenever I change the pitch, the whole bass is going to be the same pitch for the entire time. So in order to make a pitch sequence, a melody sequence, we have to bundle it into a group. Now this gives us 32 different chops that we can change the pitches of. So now the melody is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and then I think it's 2, 2, 2, 2, and then 1, -1, -1, etc. So that's the first 16. Then the next 16, it goes up to 3 on this one. Okay, we're pretty close. I think these both need to be rotated by 8 because they actually start at the high pitch, but that also might mean our kick needs to be rotated. Let's see. Yeah, so the kick is also rotated by, it's going to be rotated by 4 in this case. And then the bass, actually I got the rhythm wrong. It has some 16th notes in there. So we have all 8th notes right now. And so in order to add those extra notes, I want to actually add the notes. I could do a shortcut and do roll 1, 2, which would add them like this. Oops. To the bass I could do this. But it's not quite as what I want because I could actually do better, I think, if we add a bit of swing maybe. I think there might be a bit of swing, but I can't tell. So let me print these durations. Now this is going to be a lot, but I think we can do it by just doing 2 duration 2, 1, 1. That should spread throughout the whole sequence. Then we can bundle it to 32 and then bundle it to 64. So now we have the right rhythm pattern all the way across these 64 chops. Now we just need to reapply the previous melody that we did, which would be right here, but since we rotated it, we actually need to add the other pitches to the end. Oh, we need a lot more pitches actually because there's more chops. So I need to actually, I'm going to do 2 separate 2. That cuts it in half. So it cuts it into as many chunks as we specify. I specified 2. So it cuts it right down the middle there. Now it's a little bit easier to kind of work with. So the first part of the melody, we're going to have a bunch of 2s. Every 2 in here actually needs 3 notes. So 2 and then 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2, and then 2, 2. Bump, ba-da, bump, ba-da, and then 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And then all these zeros, we actually need, I think, 4 extra. And then I'm just going to delete this end part. So I can apply that. I think I might have 1 too many in there. Let's see. So there's a little bit of a chop hanging over here for some reason. I'm just gonna, I think it got added on accident. I'm just gonna remove that. So I did grow -1 to remove from the end. So you can grow with positive numbers to add more chops or negative to remove. So now number 3 has the exact same melody except for 1 note. So what I can do is do 2 print mel. So I print out the melody of number 2, which is correct, and then I just change this to track 3, and then I change all of these to 3s. Now we have our bass line, I think. let's swap the kick with a different rock kick. I want it to be a bit higher pitch, or not higher pitch, but have more high frequency. Now, I think that sounds pretty good. Oh yeah, I was going to try to apply some swing. So if we do a bit of swing, let's try like, I'll do swing command, and so 50 would be default. 50 is like no swing, 50%. So if we push it a bit farther, we get a bit of swing. So I'm going to try 58%. I don't think there's any swing, but it's interesting because that bass sounds so groovy, but I think it's just because of the timbre changes on those pulsier notes, on the two 16th notes are a bit brighter, so it has a bit of a groove to it. Ours sounds a bit flat, but that's okay. So we recreated Blue Monday by New Order. I hope that helped you. Thanks for watching, guys. So just a little note about what Beat DJ is. This program is for improvising electronic dance music. So typically you would load up sounds off your hard drive sort of randomly, mix and match them together, and then mix them with your headphones and the speakers. So you can actually preview with your headphones what you're going to play to the audience. So it's really built for live performance, and it's mostly sample based. You did see I use that generator function in the beginning, which is kind of like a synthesizer. It uses a code to generate the sound. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and drop a comment for any tracks I should do next. I'm happy to work on any sort of style, any genre. I think this is super fun, and I love the challenge of creating other songs. I'll also drop a link to our Discord in the description. And so if you go there, you'll get a whole getting started guide for Beat DJ, and plus you can ask questions there and get tips and tricks from the community. And we also do multiplayer sessions twice per week, which is super fun. I'll also drop a course in the description. It's a 3-week course. It comes bundled with Beat DJ Pro. So you get Beat DJ Pro for 2 years, which includes the live performance tools, recording and exporting, and all of the visual commands. And so the course will cover every single command in Beat DJ, and it'll also talk a lot about how music works and how to write visualizer scripts, how to write synthesis scripts, all sorts of stuff. So it's kind of like a master class. So thank you so much, guys. Till next time.